What up? How we all doing today? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be continuing my Need for Speed Blacklist logos, and I'm going to be doing Izzy, Big Lou, and Ronnie. I was trying to remember which ones I'm doing today. But yeah, I think they're going to turn out pretty cool, so enough talking, let's get on into it. Alright, so first up we got Izzy. Let me know what you think of the little intros I put beforehand. Those are from the original game if you haven't played it. It's just a pretty cool nostalgia trip. And I haven't gotten any copyright issues from them yet, so I'm going to keep on doing them. So while I said I was going to try and make logos a bit less related to the car designs, I'm immediately going to contradict myself and talk about this logo because I did base it off of her car design. But she has one of the cooler car designs in the game, and it translates pretty well to text design and doing her name, that kind of thing. Izzy was always a fun person to race in the game because it was like your first taste at a boss race in the new area once you get it unlocked. And it's a nice welcome upgrade from Vic because his Supra is kind of garbage. Her car has like a spider kind of livery, got these like black leg-like shapes coming down from the top, and they're kind of spiky. And they're not perfect lines, which adds this kind of grungy feel. And the car is gray and red as well, so the final logo that I make is based off of the red accent on her car. I added a outline and some extra motion lines for a bit more character. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for Izzy's logo. I think it's the best one that I've done out of this series so far, but the video isn't over yet, so let's go ahead and get started with the next one. Alright, next up we got Big Lou, B-Lou, Glizzy Lou, whatever you want to call them. This logo was made with a tribal style because one of the decal options you have when customizing your car are these like tribal decals, which are like, I guess, based off of that tattoo style where it's really sharp corners and like spiky looks almost, but it's also very like curved and circular at the same time. That's the best I got for describing tribal stuff.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
But I was pretty happy with the original sketch. So once I brought it into the computer, not much else needed to be done other than kind of tracing it over with the pen tool and making sure all the curves are really good. And I'm working on getting my iPad screen onto my PC so that I can start showing you guys like the sketching process, because that's really where the creativity and the idea comes from. At this point, it's more or less just watching me trace over my idea. So I do want to work on that for sure, because I feel like that's the more interesting part. I don't know if I say this quite often with just about every single racer, but Big Lou is one of my favorite cars to race against in the game. His intro is really memorable. I think he's the only intro that actually has like wingman cars with him, which is really cool. and his design is super bold and punchy with the orange and yellow of the tiger popping really nicely off the black. And I just really love the Mitsubishi Eclipse as well. It's a great car. One funny thing that happened once a couple years ago, I was racing against him and I won one of the circuit races by 1/100th of a second, which is as close as you can win. It was one of those events where my car was a lot slower and he was catching up on me, and I checked the stats at the end and I like just barely beat him. If I had the clip, I would I'd put it up there, but I think it's on my old computer. But yeah, that was really fun. There's a panda on the hood of his car, and the ears are made out of triangles. So to fill in some blank space and add a little bit of balance, I added in a couple of triangles you see above the O. Just figured that we could add a little bit to the right. So yeah, that's going to do it for the Tribal Big Lou logo. I'm super happy with how this one came out. At the end here, I added like a little bit of a 3D effect to it, but it's really just the same logo. I'm super happy with the original. So that's going to do it. Let's move on to the final one. Alright, last logo for today is going to be Ronnie. This one I'm taking a slightly different approach and going with a more font-based logo type. This is a style that I'm trying to work on myself, but I think a limiting factor for me is I actually don't have many fonts that I like doing this with. But this font I think is Bookman, if I remember it right, and I do like this font quite a lot, and I think it works pretty well for my application and matches Ronnie's style. So Ronnie has two different cars in the game. He has a Supra that's a little bit more tuner, obviously more JDM style, and then you've got the Aston Martin with the kind of cringy "Kiss Me, I'm Irish" on the back. It's like a better fit, I think, for the Irish style, this logo. And what I'm doing here is just trying to figure out a way to make the font itself a little bit more interesting. So having these lines connecting some letters together and this one that kind of swoops over the whole entire name, I think just adds a lot to it that the regular font couldn't. As well, the last part here that I'm working on, I'm trying to have the letter 3 show at the very end. It's not supposed to be something that sticks out. It's more of just like a little hidden Easter egg kind of thing. But yeah, I think it turns out pretty good how it kind of covers the E and then wraps around the I. It just so happened to look like the number 3, and so I went with it. A lot of times when you work in strokes, you'll have a problem with the corners, and sometimes things get a little too pointy, so that's what I was doing right there, just adjusting a couple of things. And that's going to do it for the Ronnie logo. This one's super simple. I do add right here in the presentation a little bit of a 3D effect around the edges, and I grunge it up a little bit to match the background, and I think that works pretty well. So yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's logos. I really enjoyed making them, and I think I'm developing my style a lot more. And I think the grungy, fast feeling of these logos is translating really well and fits the Need for Speed style that I'm going for. If you like this video, be sure to leave a like and go check out part 1 to this little mini series I'm doing, and be on the lookout for more kinds of videos. You know, subscribing helps, all that stuff. But at the end of the day, I hope you have a great day. Take care.